Goodbye, foot. Facing the unknown is scary, so is amputating a limb. Combining the two is awful. I've been there, so allow me to demystify what happens after you enter the hospital on amputation day. First thing, paperwork. Annoying, but it's probably best that written consent is required before severing someone's limb. After you're checked in, you'll be taken back to a pre-op waiting room, which could be a literal room or maybe just a curtained off area. There, a nurse will ask some standard pre-surgical questions, take your vitals, and give you a gown to change into.
Give me twice as many socks as I need.
You'll also be given an IV. I suggest getting it in your non-dominant hand if possible. Once changed, expect to do a lot of waiting. In my experience, it usually takes 1 to 2 hours between when I enter a hospital and when I actually go back for surgery. You can bring something along to take your mind off things, whether it's games on your phone, a book, or a support person. If you're feeling really anxious, you can ask the nurse for some medication to help with that. While you're waiting, you'll get periodic visits from the surgeon, anesthesiologist, and other members of your care team. You'll sign more paperwork because there's no such thing as too much paperwork, and eventually you'll be told that it's almost time to head back. Pro tip: use the bathroom as close before surgery as possible. While you're in the operating room, you'll be getting IV fluids. So even though you didn't eat or drink before surgery, you'll still need the bathroom when you wake up. Trying to use the bathroom when you're groggy and coming out of anesthesia and you're missing the limb isn't fun. By using the bathroom right before, you'll buy yourself a little time for the anesthesia to wear off and for you to get a bit familiar with your newly amputated limb. When it's time for surgery, your anesthesiologist will come get you and take you back to the operating room. Picture a very white, sterile, bright room with a lot of people in surgical gowns. Everyone in that room is going to be very aware that you're doing something scary. If they're like my team was, they're going to be trying to be cheerful and try to make things a little easier. An anesthesiologist once told me that he likes to distract patients by maybe telling them a joke or a story right before the anesthesia is administered to help them relax, and also so the last memory before losing consciousness is a positive one. Your leg will be given a nerve block probably once you're out. Then it's time to amputate. Everything up to this point is fairly predictable for an elective leg amputation. Moving forward, there's going to be more variation patient to patient. So it's a good time to remind you that everything in this video is based on my own experience and what I've heard from other amputees. After amputation, you'll be taken to a recovery area where nurses will keep an eye on you as you gradually regain consciousness. There's no guarantee that the nerve block will be working when you wake up. Thankfully, mine was working, so my first moments as an amputee were very positive.
I have had some phantom sensations where it feels like I can feel my foot, but not painful sensations, no phantom pain. So aside from a little bit of a sore throat from the anesthesia and my hand has a needle in it, other than that, I'd say zero pain, which is amazing. Haven't been in zero pain for years.
By contrast, when my friend's leg was amputated, the nerve block wasn't working when she woke up, so it was a really rough start and the focus was on pain management. I'll put a link in the description if you'd like to hear her story. And if you're an amputee, please share your experience in the comments so it can help others.
It is almost 1 o'clock. Surgery, I checked in at 6 a.m., did all the paperwork, got changed, and I think surgery itself began around 7:30, lasted an hour, and I spent about half an hour in recovery until I was more awake. So I was awake, I think around 10-ish. Then it took about 45 minutes to get me to my room where I'll be staying for 3 to 4 days, which is where I am now. And in here, I'm still in the bed I was in when they did the surgery, and I assume I'll be transferring over to that bed over there at some point. So far, so good. Pain is definitely being managed. I think this is probably the easy part. And See, I feel really nauseous, so they're giving me something to help with that. They already gave me Zofran while I was unconscious, but I'm just too nauseous. They're giving me more. The physical therapist already stopped by, wanted to make sure I could transfer in and out of the wheelchair and use crutches safely. And I am a pro. I've been on crutches for 2.5 years, so I passed with flying colors back because I've got the skills I need to get through the hospital stay. So, trying to think what else. They offered me food. I feel kind of nauseous, so they're safe actually. A little dizzy. It's a little hard to concentrate, but overall I feel pretty good. So that's what recovery's like, just a few hours post-op.
When I saw my amputated limb for the first time, I felt good, like I'd made the right choice.
Cutting off a leg is not like cutting off hair. Hair is easier to part with. Get it? And no, I'm not loopy, I just like puns.
I was at peace with what had happened. Not all amputees feel that way, especially not at first. I think it's hard to predict how you're going to react. Emotions run high when you go through amputation. Plus, once you get some medication and drugs on board, it's hard to know how you'll feel. And it's completely natural if you feel anger, grief, frustration, and everything in between. I think it helped that I'd been in the limb salvage phase for a long time. It felt like I'd already done my grieving ahead of amputation day. If you have less time to prepare emotionally, you might have a different experience. Plus, we're all different people with different backgrounds and personalities. Whatever you feel, please give yourself grace.
I know you've had a really bad day. It's gonna be okay.
The anesthesiologist did a great job. So I'm not feeling anything, which is great because in past foot surgeries, sometimes I have felt either a little bit or a lot, depending on how well they did their job with the nerve block. So I got a nerve block here and here. So, they did a good job and not hurting. As usual with anesthesia, I have kind of a sore throat because they put a tube down there. So that's not pleasant, and you expect a little pain in your hand from the IV. But, other than that, this is as pain-free as I've been in years. I woke up and said, wow, I don't hurt. I can't remember the last time I didn't hurt. It's been a long time.
Because my nerve block was working, I didn't hang out in recovery super long. Riding a hospital bed like a flying carpet, I was wheeled back to the room I'd be staying in. Once there, I was introduced to the nurses and aides on shift. I remember my surgeons checking in on me. It felt very busy, a flurry of blood pressure cuffs and conversations. Eventually, things quieted down and I was able to have a little time alone with my family.
So this is my lovely wife, who only has one sexy leg and not two.
It feels really weird, like it's super light to lift it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they put bronzer on, but that's just to clean the leg. And I think that's where they did one of the nerve blocks. They did two. Maybe if we look around, there's the other one. But it's weird. It's like if you had ankle weights on or something and were working out and you took them off, your leg would float.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like. It's bizarre. The other bizarre thing is I've been in pain 24/7 for years now, and I'm not in pain. My throat hurts from the tube they use with anesthesia. And I feel really dizzy and nauseous, which is weird because they gave me Zofran as anti-nausea, but no, I'm not in pain, and that's a weird feeling. I'm sure that'll wear off with the nerve block, but it's pretty cool. And yes, I'm a dork. I'm sewing. I'm making zipper leg pants so I can get them over my leg. So feast your eyes on that.
I went like maybe 10 or 12 years, didn't sew a thing, and now I'm toting around sewing like I'm some hardcore craft lady.
You mentioned that you don't feel pain because the nerve blocks are working.
Yeah, well, not every anesthesiologist is created equal. Sometimes I still get pain even with nerve blocks. And this time it's feeling pretty good.
How the rest of the day goes, it depends a lot on the nerve block. Mine lasted 14 hours, which was amazing. If your nerve block is working, I strongly recommend trying to get some sleep. It'll probably be hard to sleep that first night. So if you're a little groggy still from anesthesia, try to take advantage of it, even if that means postponing some visitors.
I am so sleepy. It's 4 p.m. and one of the meds they gave me for nausea, because I was I can't talk. So I just took a nap. I'm ready for another nap. The only reason I woke up was because I needed the bathroom. And this is something to be aware of if you're not used to surgery. They'll hook you up to an IV and run fluids through you. So even if you're not drinking much by mouth, you're going to end up needing the bathroom a lot. For me, it's not a big deal because I already know how to transfer in and out my wheelchair and use crutches with one leg. But if you are new to this, that's something that you might want to be aware of. For how I'm feeling, my leg feels like, my residual limb feels like it has some pressure, feels numb. I've had some phantom sensations of just feeling like my foot is there. Nothing painful. I'd still put my pain level at a 0, which is amazing. So that's about it. Oh, another pro tip. They will give you ice, and I've noticed a lot of hospitals use these. These leak. Always make sure that this is tilted or slanted up so that when the ice melts, it's not going to drip on you and get your bed wet. And you don't want to sit in a puddle. I'm going to take another nap while the nerve block is helping me out. Highly recommend you sleep as much as you can right after surgery, because I'm expecting it to get worse when all of the nerve blocks wear off.
How long the nerve block lasts depends a lot on factors including the specific medication used. Not all hospitals offer the same nerve blocks, so asking questions ahead of time is a great idea. The focus of that first day is going to be pain management and making sure you can eat, use the bathroom, etc. Expect lots of periodic visits from doctors and nurses. They'll be checking your vitals, asking you questions, and giving you meds. As the nerve block wore off, I remember feeling a burning sensation in my leg. I think it had something to do with the muscles and skin being freshly cut. It was a relatively short-term sensation, but it could be a little alarming if you aren't expecting it. My amputation was first thing in the morning. By evening, the nerve block had worn off. Things were about to get tough. If you want a rundown on what those first few days and weeks were like, I'll be posting part 2 next week. In the meantime, I've got a lot of other helpful videos about how much amputation hurts, what to expect with phantom pain, and a pre-amputation checklist. But the most important thing to know on amputation day is that life will go on. It may not feel like it, but there will be happy days ahead. I can't guarantee there won't be setbacks, but people are incredible creatures, capable of adapting to and overcoming intense challenges. Your body may look different, but you'll still be you. So good luck, hang in there, and know that I'm rooting for you.
It's gonna